Hi Jamie, I'm John.
Hi John, nice to meet you.
Really good to meet you, mate.
That's it.
Obviously I had loads about your dad.
Yeah.
How does it feel like, you know, finally getting wheels in motion and films rolling?
It's been quite emotional really because obviously he's not here and it's been talked about for about 30 years and no word of a lie. Someone put a seed in his head when I was about 15 and said your story would make quite a good film. So, you know, and 30 years later we're here. I mean, he was always going to do the film before the book. It was like a long time before, and for some reason he just couldn't get it off the floor. So to do it actually, I mean, even though I've been working on it 5 years, it's actually took 30 years to actually get here today. Okay, we're here on set of My Name is Lenny. We're filming in Ezra Street, which is just off Columbia Road. It's just on the borders of Hoxton and Bethnal Green, which obviously we all grew up, even though my dad was born in Hoxton and I was actually brought up in sort of Bethnal Green in Bow, and I went to school there just across the road. But the reason we're using this because it's so it's so real with the cobble streets and everything like that, you know what I mean? So
it's fantastic.
Yeah, you know, look at the authenticity I was looking for. I mean, it looks absolutely fantastic.
It is fantastic. It's like going back when I was a kid.
Yeah, and also all the extras have come for free. They're all off my dad's fan pages in blistering eats. It's costing them money to come, stay in hotels, pay for their trains and everything. And obviously, look, it's 100 degrees. Me and you're absolutely sweating, but you know, look at it. It's absolutely fantastic. This is my cousin Martin Askew, who is in the film.
Don't film me, please.
he co-wrote My Name is Lenny, and was also playing Jim Irwin, who is the wicked stepfather, who is absolutely brilliant at it.
I play a psychotic lunatic who beats up a child, who beats up a woman. And obviously, once you see this character, you'll empathise with Lenny's trajectory, how he sort of goes and becomes the governor, because he had that rage that it was installed early on with the, you know, because of the trauma he went through as a young man, as a young boy. You know, a lot of people don't realise that about Lenny's story. It was the family do. It was something that we all knew about. We knew about Jim Irwin being this brutal man. And back in the old days, it was a domestic. It was like, oh, that's something that's at home. But we went with that storyline because Lenny also suffered with, you know, like OCD. But back in the East End then, you know, you was just, if you had a little problem, you was perceived to be a bit of a nutter or a lunatic. But being a lunatic in the East End was like, oh, it was a good thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like a badge of honour.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But obviously, you know, you kept it to yourself because you went round saying, oh, I'm counting 1,000 steps a day. He's a nutter, this geezer, stay away from him, you know what I mean? But he was all sort of disguised, and I think that dealt with a lot of issues he was having because he turned into extreme violence, you know what I mean, as well. So perhaps he was a little bit vulnerable about his OCD, and if he thought people were thinking about it, then he would go into a rage, you know what I mean?
67, take two, B mark.
Yep.
Okay. Set.
Set.
Thank you. Set. Thank you. And action.
And obviously there wasn't a lot of opportunities for working class boys in East London, was there?
No, there was no role models, there was no education. So what he had to do, he had to fight his way out of the East End. That's all he done.
Yeah.
And I know it's like an old cliche, but to put food on the table for his wife and kids. But and obviously he was good at it, so he thought, you know what, let's try and make some money out of it. But in the end, I think he knew it wasn't the way forward. You know, he knew it was, you know, it just wasn't for him anymore, and he just realised that he needed to do something else, and that's why he liked the acting. He really always wanted to sort of be an actor, and you know, that's what sort of the profession he went into in the end, and obviously wrote the book as well.
So it's a story of adversity. His story arc is something that it's not just a Cockney fug fest. This is an intelligent film about a man who in the East End, a lot of people will tell you that he was a good man because he helped a lot of people. It wasn't just people who wanted a problem, they got a problem, and but that was part of the culture of the street. We're not celebrating violence. What we're doing is we're telling a story of a young boy's fight to transcend
And why did he become so violent? What was his story? Like when we touched on earlier on, you said, was my dad a born fighter? No, he was not a born fighter. He was a direct result of his upbringing from his abusive father, who Martin is playing absolutely exceptional. Maybe a little bit too good. He's playing it really, so he's actually scaring me every time.
They put the young boy in the piece. We had a standing young lady who was a stunt lady, who I had to properly kick. But you know, it was very difficult. The thing is, I think I enjoyed it too much. Anyway, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, nice one, mate. Really good talking to you.
I mean, look, as you saw a bit of period piece, I mean, you can see all the old 70s cars, 70s scooters. You know, it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, you like it, didn't you? You want to drive. I mean, I think that'll make a good piece of you actually driving off in the sunset.
Yeah, very nice, wouldn't it? So my missus, look what I've come home with.
That's Ron Scapello, the director.
Directing Pressure. Pressure. We give that a good review on Britflicks.
Oh, yeah, I did. Fantastic. You from
That's Ron
Britflicks?
Scapello.
Yeah, I saw that review. Thanks, that was very kind of you. Yeah, hopefully this one's as good, if not better.
Totally different sort of film, though, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the themes run true. You know, it's kind of a study of kind of masculinity, you know, and the construction of an identity that became larger than life, but also conflicted. So
It looks fantastic.
thank you very much.
And it's like going back to my childhood.
It's all really, it's been lovely in many ways. We've shot very locally, within 3 square miles of where Jamie and Lenny were obviously brought up, and this little street hasn't changed much. You know, a little bit of detail here and there.
It's absolutely unbelievable.
It's like a family atmosphere. We're like a family. Everyone's sort of got each other's back. And it's
You
really
could always
cool.
get emotional about it.
No, it's going to be sad when it ends. I mean, we're going to have a few tears on Saturday night at the wrap party.
The fans of the work already, Jamie. So no, but listen, Josh. I mean, I keep saying, but I think it's going to be a landmark performance. Supporting cast: Chanel Cresswell, Fran, John Hurt.
He looks so like Lenny, though. Do you think he's a long gone breed now? Are there any other people like him anymore, or is that just because obviously East London's not the same as it used to be, is it? It's totally changed. And
There will never be no one like him. I'll tell you the reason why is because you've got all the mobile phones now, photos, you know, everything's social media, everything's doctored so quick. So if he lived that life now, he would be arrested, or you know, he would be killed, because the streets are different now. But basically in the 70s, when you had a problem with someone and you had a fight, you wouldn't call the police. You would, next day you shake around in the pub and you would buy him a drink, and that's how it was. And you know, when I grew up and when he grew up, we didn't have computer games. We had like a football, a tin can and a catapult. That's all we had. But it seems like to me then everyone got on much better anyway. And you know, like even when I was making the film, the documentary, when I was interviewing old people or anyone, like we've lost our sense. We don't know our neighbours anymore. Everyone's paranoid to knock on your neighbour's door and ask for help or ask for sugar. I know it's an old thing, but that's what it. And then when I'm interviewing people, oh, like the East End's changed. But you know, you have to evolve. But I personally doesn't think it's changed for the better. But you know, I just think we need to get a community, like just get everyone to know each other. Do you know what I mean? Because everyone's a stranger now, and it's, you know, it's weird. It's for me, it's weird because I grew up in the 70s. You know what I mean? As you can hear, we're obviously doing My Name Is Lenny at the back, and we've obviously said roll, and they're all fighting at the back there over our voices.
Okay, 1 second. Tony. Charlie and David.
I mean, look. That's what it is. You've got Michael Bisping from the UFC, massive star. You've got John Hurt, who is a British legend. You've got Josh Hellman, an Australian playing Lenny, which is, we took some balls to do that, but he's absolutely nailing every part of this film, honestly. And when I first went on set in our first shoot, I was in tears watching him because he was dressed up in my dad's clothes. He sounded like, and even my dad's brothers and sisters have been on set, and they went, "Oh, it looks like our brother," you know what I mean? And that's just, and then that's when you know you've made the right choice. Because a lot of Lenny fans don't remember him from Lock, Stock, and oh, hello, mate, the big lump. But we're doing a film about in the 70s, and my dad was very, very lean in that, very sort of, he was quite slight. And like when you see him, and then when the fans do see him, then they know we made the right decision.
I can understand it. I mean, like I say, I find it a little bit emotional seeing a film set that reminds me so much of my childhood. Yeah. But for you, and it's a film about your dad, it must be, you've got to admit, it must blubber something now and again.
I always cry on the way home. I ain't told no one this, I tell you, but it's obviously hopefully no one sees it. I'm joking. Obviously, like as I drive home in my car after every day on set, I put a bit of music on it. It brings a tear to my eye.
It must be emotionally draining, though, isn't it?
Well, he wanted this for so long, 30 years. 30 years. 30 years. You know, some people who are acting it ain't even 30 years old. You know, and it's 30 years, and we're here, and we've done it, and we've done. So we think, we hope. It's not as my cousin said. It's not a Cockney fug fest. It's an artistic piece of cinema
And history.
And history.
Yeah.
And an iconic London figure.
Yeah.